That is why it is very important disease for all us ophthalmic plastic surgeons to know about thyroid disease in details. As with all other diseases, it's always a good idea in a part of workup to know about the risk factors the patient might have, symptoms and signs of the patient. As we all know that there is a high incidence of hyperthyroidism in females, they are also more prone to TED with an incidence of about 16 to 1 lakh populations per year. Speaking about the risk factors, about 90% of patients are hyperthyroid presentation and the 6% are euthyroid. There is a different temporal relationship between the development of hyperthyroidism and development of TED. At the time of diagnosis of hyperthyroidism, about 20% of them have TED and 60% are diagnosed with TED within 1 year. If the patient is diagnosed with TED and has been labeled as euthyroid, the patient is yet to develop thyroid disease with an incidence of about 25% in 1 year and 50% in 5 years. Though the preponderance for the disease is more for young females, the disease severity is more for elderly males. Genetics has its own role to play. HLA8, DR3, and DQ81 may increase the susceptibility to the disease. Smoking is another very important risk factor that not only triggers but also increases the risk of occurrence of TED by 7 to 8 times. Therefore, any definite cessation of smoking can reverse the disease and also leads to better response to treatment. Another important factor is any fluctuation in the level of thyroid hormones from hyper to hypo, hyper to hyper that may happen as a result of oral medications, radioactive iodine treatment, or surgical thyroidectomy that can not only impact the cause of TED but also lead to an acute congestive phase. And yes, we should always ask the patients about any coexisting autoimmune disorders, including rheumatoid arthritis, pernicious anemia, systemic lupus erythematosus disease, Addison's, celiac, and vitiligo. It should always be a young middle-aged female presenting with concurrent thyrotoxics to the OPD with an enlarged palpable space, complaining of glutinous photophobia, epiphora, and at times visual disturbance in the form of diplopia or blood vision. TD has many name signs. I'll be discussing few of them. The most common and the most pathognomic being the lid retraction with a lateral flare, that's called as the Dell-Rempe sign. The first photograph shows that particularly marked on attentive fixation, the patient may develop of TED a staring and frightened appearance called as the coach's sign. An incomplete and infrequent blinking leads to a Silvok sign, and in the absence of grease in the forehead on superior gaze is called as the Joffre's sign. Another important sign that we all patients we tend to see is the Golgi's sign, which is a deep injection of the bulbar conjunctiva right at the insertion of the muscles. All patients of TED might either have extraocular movement involvement or fatio-conjunctive tissue involvement. Younger patients are more prone to have fat expansion, and the older patients have more prone to a muscle enlargement. About 45 to 80% of patients of TED have a poor ocular surface. In the early stages, it's because of the inflammation that the patient might be undergoing, and in the stable phase, it's because of the lack of thalamus causing chronic exposure and thereby dryness. Patients may have the most common involvement as inferior itis, and therefore they generally land up to you with an inferior vertical diplopia followed by a horizontal diplopia and limitation of the horizontal eye movements. There also happens increased volume of the orbital soft tissue leading to a lot of congestion and thereby poor venous drainage, which may lead to a lot of redness, swelling of the eyelids, and chemosis. A patient of thyroid disease may land up in two of the ocular emergencies, first one being corneal ulceration and perforation, and the other being because of the congestion that happens to the orbital apex and the compression of the optic neuropathy leading to a thyroid optic neuropathy. There have been multiple classifications time and again given for assessment of thyroid disease. We'll be discussing the main ones. The first one being no specs, no signs and symptoms, only signs, soft tissue involvement, proptosis, extraocular muscle involvement, corneal involvement, or sight loss. The problem with no specs classification is that it doesn't differentiate between active phase and an inactive phase. Next, we have the clinical activity score, which was amended by the European Group on Graves' Orthopathy. So it's one of the most common active scoring system that we use in an Indian scenario. It's very easy to use. There's a scoring of at the initial presentation from 1 to 7, and on a follow-up presentation it adds up from 8 to 10. Each sign has been given a score of 1. They being spontaneous orbital pain, gaze evoked pain, eyelid swelling, eyelid erythema, conjunctival redness, chemosis, or inflammation of the caruncular plica. And on follow-up, we assess an increase of proptosis of more than 2 mm, restriction of movements in any gazes of more than equal to 8 degrees, and a decrease in the visual acuity on a Snellen charts of equivalent to 1 line. At initial presentation score of more than 3 and at follow-up presentation score of more than 4 indicates that the patient has an active disease and requires urgent intervention. This is the European group on Graves' orthopathy who gave us the severity assessment commonly called as the UGOGO classification. The assessment parameters are graded on the comparison with the standard atlas image that the group has developed. So, a mild thyroid disease patient may have one of the following: a minor retraction of less than 2 mm, a proptosis of less than 3 mm, a mild soft tissue involvement, no transient diplopia, and a corneal exposure which is very well responsive to lubricants. Moderate to severe thyroid disease, a patient might have two of the following: a lid retraction of 2 mm or more, a moderate to severe soft tissue involvement, a proptosis of more than equal to 3 mm, and a constant diplopia. And patients with sight threatening disease might either have a compressive optic neuropathy or a corneal ulceration. And then we have the VISA classification given by the ITEDS group. VISA stands for Vision, Inflammation, Strabismus, and Appearance. The total score is about 20. The VISA scoring is the importance of VISA scoring is that it tells us has both an objective scoring and subjective scoring as compared to a CAS score, which only has a subjective scoring. Therefore, there is more inter-observer variation that can happen with CAS score. But because of the complexity of the score, there's a lot many factors. Very difficult in an Indian scenario like ours to assess the patient using a VISA classification. However, a score of more than equal to 5 of VISA indicates that the patient has a severe disease and needs to be aggressively treated. So, towards the end, I would like to emphasize on this workup sheet that we have in our clinics to assess patients of thyroid disease, which involves a detailed assessment of the visual acuity, their intraocular pressures, the amount of proptosis that they have measured using a Hertels, the amount of dryness that they have, ocular surface, poor ocular surface, using TBUT, Schirmer's, and NEI grading. We also look for any evidence of optic neuropathy by looking into the fundus using a diagophthalmoscope, getting the patients assessed on color vision, contrast sensitivity, and the fields done. We also tend to note the recent thyroid eye profile that has been done, any imaging that has been done, which is very well documented, and any history of treatment that the patient has undergone, including the amount of steroids that have been given with the cumulative dose over the last 6 months to 1 year. So this should not only be done at presentation, but there's always a area where you can keep on doing a patient on follow up, and therefore not only helps the patient, not only helps us to assess the patient at present, but also helps in telling us the response to the treatment that the patient might be having. Thank you, Dr. Rachna ma'am, for having me included in this instructional course on a very important topic of thyroid disease.